Welcome to Can Do Teaching.
I'm Stacy Graff,
And I'm Amy Fournier.
and we are the administrators at Canterbury Elementary School in Crystal Lake, Illinois. Thanks for joining us. Our podcast is about can do teaching as we do it here at Canterbury Elementary School.
Join us if you want to learn, laugh, and be encouraged.
Together, we can do this. We have a couple of experts here with us today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Culasso Medansky. I'm the instructional dual language coach.
I am Melanie Moscato. I'm the MTSS coach.
Welcome, ladies. Good to have you here today. So we're going to talk about a problem today that is on most teachers' minds. How do you get prepared for next school year and still protect your time and have some boundaries around taking care of yourself over the summer? So that's the problem we're going to address today. Vanessa, do you want to get us started? Do you have any ideas around that?
Yeah, so the first thing I always love to do is just to reflect about how the year went, and this allowed me to have closure of one school year moving on to the next, so I don't carry the bag. I always like to think about what went well, what are some things that I can do better next time, what are some success from my students, and then what are some things that I want to look forward for next year.
And I love that because that really helps set you up for what you want to do, what practices you want to keep, and then what practices that maybe you need to work on or refine a little bit. I know for me, when I was a teacher, it was really difficult over the summer. I did not have good boundaries about taking care of myself. And so while I would reflect and do that, it seemed like my reflection kind of trickled on throughout the summer. And I was always making lists and making plans, and like every single day pretty much during the summer I was thinking about work, and I wasn't really getting away. I see heads nodding as we're sitting here talking. What are some ideas for how we could organize our time, our thoughts, our resources differently so that we can take that time for ourselves?
So, just like Vanessa said, you got to take time for yourself, but you also have to reflect. So, when I was in the classroom, and I do this now as a coach too, I have an August problems list, and anything that is going to suck my energy away or something I just don't want to think about right now, but I need to make note of it in August, I would put it on this list, and I would make a document in my Google Drive. I would star it. So first thing back in August, that's my list to go for. Also in the classroom, if I notice that, for example, one of my Target bins might have cracked in my library, I make a note of that either on my phone or on this Google Drive so that over the summer, once the Target bins come out in the dollar spot, I can go and snag those, because we all know how quickly those go. And I think, as we've said, it's definitely, you have to take time for yourself, but as our second nature is to always think about our job. So I always use the rainy days. So the days that were crummy outside, those are the days that I could maybe create things for my classroom. Creating things for my classroom, I found joy in that all the time. So that made me happy. But if yours is, looking for read alouds or going to garage sales or half price books, use those crummy days that we don't want to be outside. And living in Illinois, we always have those days. Use that day to find your joy in teaching, but also remember your boundaries.
Absolutely. And I love that idea of like having your August problems list, because it's like you're doing a brain dump, right? You're
Yep.
getting all your thoughts and ideas out, and then you can know that they're there and let go of it for a little bit. What other ideas do we have for summer that could help staff and other, whether it's teachers or other kind of staff, prepare themselves?
Well, just kind of thinking about what you were saying, Melanie, I also go through my Google Drive in the summer, And I have a beginning of the year folder. Instead of that August problem, I call it my boy folder, beginning of the year. And that's the the folder that I start creating now, where I'm looking at those documents that I'm going to need when I come back in August, and I start creating copies of my last year's and putting them in new folders. It helps me, get more organized right away at the beginning of the year, so I'm not searching around for documents that I may have forgotten about. So, it's nice to make those folders and have them. Another thing that I focused on a lot when I was teaching too is refreshing myself with the PBIS manual, looking at those expectations. Building community is such an important thing right at the beginning of the year, and that's your most important thing, is getting to know your kids right away. So kind of looking in August, looking for some ideas on how you can make connections and get to know your kids well and fast, and have your kids build those kind of community routines and relationships within your classroom, looking at the expectations and the building matrices for expectations in the cafeteria and the playground and on the bus and in the hallway, and then how to talk about those things at the beginning of the year with your kiddos and sort of build that community while you're speaking about the expectations as well.
I love that idea. And irregardless of what grade level you're teaching, I know that there are a lot of Kagan materials that work on that team building process. They have activities, there are whole class activities to build that group, but then they also have small group activities. So like as your students are getting to know one another. And one of the things I always assumed when I was a teacher was that the kids knew each other when they came to me. I didn't teach kindergarten. I've taught, primary, intermediate, middle school, high school, and I just always assumed kids know each other. And they don't. Like, even if they were in the same class the previous year, sometimes they might not even remember the other child's name. So having those small group activities too, where they can really get to know each other better, even if they've been in the same class the prior year, those are worthwhile.
And just to add from that, we know in the summer we have a lot of unknown, but you can devise a plan and just spend those first few days just getting to know the students. So what you can do, as they mentioned, just plan some engaging activities that you can sprinkle throughout your week. And as you are building those procedures and building relationship with the students, you have something to go back to. If you are someone who likes to be organized and are more visual, something you can do in the summer too is like draw the little map of how you wanted to plan your furniture set up in the room, and how do you want to organize your materials. So as you're going to the stores in the summer and you start seeing those things pop up, you can always just grab. And I think, like Melanie, I always find different things to create for my classroom, or to create even for your house, right? Just doing something that you love and you enjoy, whether it's reading or organizing or creating. Just take time for yourself.
To piggyback off of what you said, and Amy, you said earlier, I always, as you're packing, we don't pack up our rooms like we do for construction, but we do put things away. And I always had one box that had scissors, tape, a stapler, push pins, magnets, something that I need as soon as I get back into the building to quickly and efficiently set up my classroom. Because I don't know how many times that I've gone through many years of construction pack-ups, and then you're like, where are my scissors? And I can't find my scissors. So I call it the go-to box. And that box then gets put in my closet or a cabinet, and I know where it is, and I know exactly where to find it. I also put my remotes in there too, because
that's a good idea.
So, but it's an easy thing to do. Small box, even a bag, just so you know where your useful materials are before you start remaking your classroom.
I'm glad you mentioned remotes, because remotes are something that we always have to order again in August, because
I
we're
always
missing
put it
them
in the
somewhere.
go-to box, and it stays in there.
I love that.
Yeah.
And even if you have a box that maybe it's a different shape, size, color, something, you use colored duct tape to tape it closed so that it's visually easy to find when the custodians remove your things and bring them back. That's going to make your life easier.
I know a couple of years right before I became a coach, I my class, right before shutdown, the year before shutdown, my class signed the box.
Oh.
So that you can remember your kids that are now moving up. But it was very visual to find it, look for all the signatures. But it was an end of the school activity where they got to draw a quick thing and sign their name on this box so that they could always, and I could remember them in August. So
Such great ideas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We want to thank Melanie and Vanessa for joining us today. You know, education is a unique field in that we have one foot in our current year while we have the other foot into the next year. And it's kind of hard to really stop and rest and rejuvenate and refresh ourselves over the summer when we're kind of living in both of those worlds. We hope that you heard some great ideas about how to kind of take care of yourself while refreshing and rejuvenating this summer.
Agree, and I especially love the part about tapping into our creativity and joy during the summer while still taking time away. We need all of those pieces.
Absolutely. Well, we hope you'll join us next time on Can Do Teaching.